Welcome back to Project Independence and You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. Wow, we just had a tremendous guest, Shanora Simon from Helen Keller Services, Kristina, another incredible guest, and I think going to be part of our Project Independence partnership family going forward for sure. We all loved her. I mean, even Dad, all of us are, she's going to be great and great support and great services and a lot of other things we didn't even delve into. So another great show. So here we are, talk of the town. Kristina, what is going on?
I'm just taking in the first segment at the moment. It was just so good. And, as you said, Rebecca, once they're on the show, they're kind of just brought into our, family and our network. Yeah. And it was just, there's so many services. And that's the beauty of doing the show, is being able to showcase, these amazing programs. And of course, the best guests are always the guests who are so invested in what they're doing. And clearly that came through with Sharnara. It was just so wonderful. And I think it's important, for people to realize that these services are out there, and, I hope that someone who's listening or watching, or knows someone that's involved, has these kind of things happening to them, feels a little at ease to know that there are these supports and programs.
Sure.
And adaptive technologies, whether it's like very, technology or kind of on the lower end of things, I think it was nice for her to say, and it brought me back. I was remembering many, many years ago when our main office was in the Roslyn area, and we had our resource room, and we briefly had this device, and it was like a CCTV.
Yeah, reader. I remember it.
And that's what just kept popping through my head. And I remember at the time we were like, I remember your mom being there, and we were like, oh my God, like this is incredible that you could put something there and it magnify, and I could only imagine now all the technology that's really, come out of,
See, but that's
like
the beauty of what we just covered, is all the technology.
Mm-hmm.
To zero in on the technology that really is the best suited for your situation,
right,
is very, very difficult. And I believe, as I said earlier, very overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Because how do you pick what for what?
Right. I mean, think about like in simple terms, it's like, in something trivial, like, picking out a TV, for your house or something, think of all that alone, you're like, I don't even know where to begin. And that's something silly, so something like this, I think it's so important to have, a person like Sharnara and her team, that can kind of guide you in these things that could be simple. When she said the thing about the watch with the big numbers,
right? Without contract.
Like my light bulbs went off, because you don't think, great, there's big numbers. And we used to do that. We used to buy it all the time for my grandpa, these kind of things, but to realize that if there's not that contrast, then it's really useless, so it's so important.
I have to just say something about Project Independence and You. So on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org, how important it is, because really it provides such an intense venue for information that otherwise we never really would have had. When would we really have had an opportunity to have a guest on the show for an hour and just kind of, I don't want to say pick her brains, but just get all this information. And it's so important, this radio show, for so many reasons. I mean, for the listeners, the people who are going to watch it, the people who can access it whenever they want. I mean, really, it's just such I don't know. I mean, I was getting like, I know Kristina and I have been kind of emotional all week because we watched This Is Us. So, it was very intense on Tuesday night when, what was going on with Rebecca, who is, the mother on This Is Us.
Yes, and we're still recovering.
After the show, I texted Kristina, and she told me the other day, which is hysterical, that her mother thought she was crazy because she said, Mom, Rebecca just texted. And she's like, what are you talking about? Rebecca from the show?
It was quite the, but it's so interesting, you mentioned that, because
This Is Us.
This Is Us. I mean, it's a phenomenal show that just deals with, and it ties into this as crazy as it sounds, and that's what really just, I think, is so incredible about it, is is, like in that show, there is he's a baby and he grows up and he, has vision impairment, and to see, how there was all these things and ways, and just see how the parents had to deal with it to make him, live the most independent life, and it's
Right.
just, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I mean, the little actor that
He's
plays
so
that
cute.
boy is just incredible.
Yeah.
But it was, I was thinking about that while we were listening to the show,
You
it's
texted me.
just,
Yeah.
there are so many things, and I think that's, when Sean was saying, when people hear, they're scared to get help because you don't want to hear the word like blind, because it's
Right.
scary, you
Yeah.
hear that and you're like, what, whoa, like what does this even mean, and your brain does go to the old school image of, walking around with a cane, and then that's it, and I think it's so important, and that's the message that I'm happy that we were able to get across, that there are so many different services and ways to, help, your independence, and to keep you,
Well, and the other part of it is that the audience, we don't know who the audience is, truthfully, but there could be people who actually have the problem themselves,
Mhm.
although the percentages are probably very small. And there probably are family and friends who might be living, who know somebody who
Yeah,
has
of
the
course.
problem. And it's always good to have it in your reserve tank as a tool that can help
Hmm.
people.
Well, I would
Um,
say, just being like professional, in the aging community and working in it, it's so important to hear this. I mean, Rebecca and I, we've been with PI for a very, very long time, and yes, we've heard about Helen Keller, we were familiar, but to really dive into this and be like, oh my God, this is, so us having this knowledge, we're now able to spread it to our social workers and nurses to say,
Right.
heads up,
Exactly.
this is a great, because Otto, as you said, how many people do you know that are in this stage of life where their vision is, deteriorating, or different ailments are coming up? So it's so important that our staff, and that's why I think this show is so great, because I would say, yes, it's geared towards seniors, but it's really
Right.
so much bigger than that, because it spreads to, just having this information,
I
which
mean,
is.
I'm witnessing it with some people right now, and it's a very
Mhm.
difficult time in somebody's life. You give up driving, you give
Yeah.
up reading, you give up television,
Mhm.
you give up a lot of things that you took for granted all along. Uh,
Hmm.
Even eating food is like, what am I eating?
Of course.
It's
Right.
And that's when she said too, Sharnara, to always keep in mind that, yes, that one sense might be, deteriorating, or lessening, but you have so many other senses,
Right. Right.
and that I just thought was such an amazing thing, because, it's really important to kind of, make those things grow and flourish, and figure out ways to have that, kind of not, but overcompensate, kind
Right.
of.
I learned this, this is like a magic word.
Mhm.
If you replace certain words like give up with the word manage, right?
Mhm.
So I'm giving up driving, I'm
Yep.
giving being able to, be independent because I need a cane. How about I manage driving, I manage my vision loss, I'm managing things, and then you kind of empower yourself
Mhm.
because you're taking charge of it and you're
Absolutely.
going to, reach out to Helen Keller. So,
Mhm.
instead of kind of looking at things, I mean, it's like a very optimistic way. And of course, most people, when they experience it, aren't feeling, oh, happy, I can manage this. But it
No,
is,
but it's training your brain. It's like
right,
the power
exactly.
of like putting positive
Right,
thinking out there, because
right,
once you start getting that groove, and of course it's easier said than done. We say that all
right.
the time.
I think
It's
that's an excellent
acceptance.
golden nugget.
Yeah.
Right,
Change, give up
Hmm.
to manage the
right,
problem.
right.
Um, and you can apply that to a lot of things. Now,
Everything,
yeah, but
everything.
I'm going to be realistic and honest. That doesn't mean you can just jump up and say, "Okay,
Right.
I'm going to give
Right,
it.
right.
I'm no longer giving it up. I'm going to manage it."
Right,
Yeah.
Uh,
right, exactly. Because it's not, but it's not a word where you're saying this is great.
Right. Like, I don't have
It's
to do
not a,
anything.
it's like you got like you have to manage things in life. You just it's kind of, but it's just the
it's a
outlook. Like it's
positive
not
way
the
to,
Yeah.
end.
yeah.
Right. It's
No, and
mindfulness.
I want to mention to everyone, she Sharnara had brought up about the Library of Congress, and the
Yes.
talking book machines.
Yeah.
I went to many years ago. There was a conference at the Viscardi Center, and they had a whole bunch of different speakers, and one of the speakers was someone from this Library of Congress, and with these talking book machines, and I was so blown away by them. And I just want to remind people, so if you are interested in it, you can call 202-707-5100. If you're watching this video, we'll have it at the end. I'll send Dan all the
Okay.
information for his editing skills, because the website as well. And obviously you could always call Helen Keller.
Might be
as
a good
well.
blurb for a future newsletter.
Absolutely. It's such
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
totally.
a great
Yeah.
point. I had you should see my paper. There's asterisks all over it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think it's a really great service to use. So
Yeah, a lot of see, even having her on about difficult topics provides information and tools for people. So
Yep.
it's, I felt it was a very positive
Absolutely.
thing. So
It was
kudos to
great
Project
job.
Independence in you. Woohoo.
Great job. It
And
makes you feel
Kristina,
good to be
Good job,
helping.
Christine.
Otto, good job. And
And
Dan.
next week we have on a very special show. It's going to be on wellness safety technology for seniors. Speaking of technology, this is certainly something we're very interested in. These little kind of ways to, maintain safety, to help seniors live at home. And it is going to be, we're going to have a couple of representatives from General Security. One of them is my best friend, soon to be sister-in-law, which we're going to be laughing, the two of us, to not be cracking jokes the whole time. It's going to be a different setting for us, but I'm very excited for that. And we also have Councilwoman Mary Ann Delamonte will be on with us. So it's certainly going to be a great show. Just check it out. And it's a funny thing. I'm thinking about wellness technology, and, social media has its crazy downfalls, obviously, and it could be a little toxic at times. But then there's some great things that you could just pick up, some tips and tricks, and those are my favorite things, right? So that's what I choose to focus on, because you guys should only see what my husband and I send to each other with little things that we find. But there was this amazing thing I saw on TikTok, and it looks like a light bulb. And you could essentially screw it into, any kind of light fixture, especially if you're traveling. And it's like a little camera. And it could hook up to a phone, through a free app. And it was just so amazing. And I was thinking, how great is this? It was so convenient. So you could just screw it in, anywhere. And of course, my husband said he saw it already. He's already on the, technology thing. But it was just, there's so many interesting little
Did
things.
you buy one of those?
I haven't. It was just yesterday. So
Yeah,
I'm
would you
sure
do
we
me
will
a
edit
favor?
too.
Would you
My husband
send me
loves a good camera, so
send me the information about
I
that?
will. It was really cool. I'll send
Yeah.
you the video. It was very interesting. And I was also thinking, Rebecca, when you were saying about just reframing kind of the way you say certain words, just to shift your mind, because my favorite of that, because of course we know Christina's journey with spring cleaning and organizing, is an ongoing journey. And you guys should see my fridge. I wish I could flip this around. I went like crazy in my fridge. I bought so many containers holding all kinds of different things. So now it's just the maintaining of it. But on Netflix, there's a show called The Home Edit, and it's these two best friends, lovely women. It's so wonderful, and they're funny, so it makes it enjoyable. But they say, when you're, getting rid of stuff in your closet, to really just call it editing, because it takes kind of that burn away, that you're just tossing things. So I'm editing. So that's just been my kind of reframe.
Oh, I like that.
That I've been walking around, because my husband, yesterday, I pulled out everything out of his closet, and I was like, all right, you can just sit on the couch, just tell me what you're into, what you're not into. I was like, he's like, well, what to throw out? I said, no, we're editing. We're in the editing process. That's what we're doing right now. So it was just great, So it's all about using that word. I've been using it constantly. So it made me laugh thinking of, using kind of positive spins on certain topics. So it's really good. So these are the little things we
I like it. I like it.
stay sane, to declutter our lives, But in other news, the town has a lot going on.
Oh, for
Fingers
sure.
crossed. Today is May 13th. So if you were listening to this live, tomorrow is May 14th, which is Asian American Festival. I know it's been a little touch and go with the weather. Everyone's been kind of nervous, but it looks like, as of right now, 11 o'clock on May 13th, it looks like the weather should be okay. And it's an amazing event, and I encourage everyone to check it out, because it's going to have representatives and from all different Asian communities, and it's Afghanistan, China, India, Japan, Korea, Pakistan, Philippines. And it's going to have food, crafts, shopping. I mean, what more can you really need?
On the beach.
And that's the best part. I always say it's a special place. Anyone has not been to North Hempstead Beach Park, I encourage you to, because I find that it's its own special kind of entity and has its own beautiful breeze, and it's really wonderful, and it just should be a great time, Beck. So
I really wanted to go to that, but we are going to go visit my son
Oh,
and
right.
grandchildren in Pennsylvania. But is Project Independence going to be there? Like any people going to be there, or you're going
Rebecca
to be
Miller will
there?
be there. I
I will
will
be
Maybe
there.
try to be
because I'd
there.
love to learn about the different cultures. I mean, the facts are we have different cultures, so
Yeah.
let's find out about them.
Well, we'll have Rebecca. Will be. I hope. I'm
Yeah, you
trying
give
to
us
get
a
there.
little bird's eye view next week. How's
That's
that
right.
sound?
Absolutely.
I will. We have to take a quick break, but I will. What I will do for us is I will have food from every culture for you.
Good. There you go.
You can
We
take a
have to take
picture
a
or two,
quick break.
maybe. Take a
We have to take
picture or
a
two.
Yes, I definitely will take pictures. Taking a quick break. You're listening to Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town, and we'll be right back.
So I get this call from my grandma, and she's like,
"What's a podcast and how much does it cost?"
So I tell her, podcasts are like radio shows, but you can download them on any device and listen to them anywhere at any time, and they're free. And then she says,
"I see, but where can you find good ones?"
And I'm like, go to wcwp.org/podcast and check out the lineup of original shows, or download any podcast app on your phone or tablet and search for LIU Studios. And she's all like,
"Oh, that sounds easy."
And then she asked me what an app is.
LIU Studios podcasts, available on any podcast app. You know, those little button things on your phone screen. Just ask your grandkids.
And welcome back to Project Independence and You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. I am Rebecca Miller. You now have the hosting team with Talk of the Town, led by Kristina Liu, who is a radio show producer and also hosts Talk of the Town with everything that's going on in the town. And also, of course, the wonderful Otto Los, who is the permanent co-host, and Dan Cox, the director of 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. So,
And you, my dear Rebecca Miller, for doing a fabulous hosting job. So
oh, thank you. You're too kind.
fabulous as always.
So we were talking about food before the break.
We were talking about Asian American Festival.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was food.
And I just want to remind everyone, so it's tomorrow, May 14th, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. If by some chance there is rain, it's going to have a rain date of Sunday, May 15th. The parking is $10 for cash and $7 for credit card. Every time I say that, I always have a happy memory of thinking of our wonderful John Ryan, who just was so confused by that always. And it just makes me laugh every time I say it, because we thought for so many years we were saying it wrong, but we realized that, the town, they wanted you to not be doing cash. They wanted
right. They're encouraging you to use your
it changed. Your brain has to like scramble a little bit to understand it, but it makes a lot of sense.
Because it's the opposite of what a lot
right.
of
So, and I just remember he was always so confused, and it makes me laugh every time I think about it. So it is going to be at North Hempstead Beach Park. Once again, there are crafts, and Beck, I hope you buy some stuff because I'm dying to see. I still have a scarf that I bought a few years back at and I think like the whole department bought the scarf because it was so beautiful. And then food and just music and performances. It's going to be an incredible event. And Otto, as you had mentioned in the last segment, it's so important to become aware of all these amazing different cultures that are in North Hempstead. I mean, we are very fortunate that it's quite the diverse community in North Hempstead. So to learn about it is just is really wonderful. And what is a better way than to learn about it with food and wonderful shopping and arts performances?
I know, food, entertainment, and shopping.
It's all my favorite things in life. Like it's just it's really everything. I also want to remind people that there is going to be, the town does the May Newberger Women's Roll of Honors breakfast and ceremony. So that's going to be on Friday, June 24th at the Clubhouse at Harbor Links. But you are still able to nominate someone up until May 16th. So definitely check that out. So that
Sorry, I had to sneeze. Apologize.
That's okay. I like that timing, Beck. That was really, I saw you like do a little jobs. I'm not sure what's going on there, but she muted herself. So there you go. But so that is May 16th. So if you know a woman in the community that is involved, and in North Hempstead, there's certainly not a shortage of amazing women that have just done great things and contributed to
Accomplishments.
the community.
Yeah.
So you have until May 16th. If you would like a forum, you can call 311 or 516-869-6311 to do that. So, and then back, you know what is also coming up, because I feel crazy saying this because I feel like it was just the beginning of spring. Coming up on Saturday, May 25th is the Memorial Day fireworks, which, how is that only in a few weeks? Just absolutely amazing. So that is going to be at North Hempstead Beach Park. The program begins at 6 p.m. and the fireworks start at 9:15 p.m. We certainly always encourage people to get there as early as possible, because parking, it gets crowded. So you're always better off kind of, getting there a little early and just enjoying the beautiful day. So there's going to be some music entertainment, I believe, as well. So it's a really fun event. So that is May 25th at North Hempstead Beach Park. So check that out, everyone. We are also in the middle of Older Americans Month, which is very exciting. So I just want to remind people, it's just a special time to listen. At Project Independence, we're focused on our aging community all the time. But
Christine, just one thing. Did you mention senior recognition lunch? That's going to be,
I did not.
That is May 23rd. Just wanted to put it out there. Originally was supposed to be Monday and Tuesday, the 23rd and 24th, but because of certain issues, we are consolidating it to one day. So it is going to be held at Harbor Links on Monday, May 23rd. So if you have any questions about it, just please call 311.
And Beck, can anybody attend that if they want to, or how does that work?
Well, it's basically you're going to support somebody that's being recognized for, from usually a senior group or somebody within the town. So yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So back to Older Americans Month is Age My Way is the theme, which is certainly the theme of Project Independence, because we have all of our different seniors are aging in different ways. So it's just kind of embracing all that, and planning and engagement and access and connection are the main goals of that. So that's something we all certainly strive to do at Project Independence as well. So just a nice time to remember. And you can go to the ACL website to find out more information, how to get involved in certain things and initiatives. So it's just Happy Older Americans Month. We just want to shout out to everyone. Next week, Rebecca and Otto, we have our advisory committee meeting is May 18th, and that is going to be at John Camera Park in Albertson at 10 a.m. We have a great lineup of obviously our nurses, our social workers, our staff, our fabulous, members, our ambassadors, as we like to call them, will all be there. And we have a speaker from Mark Gordon, who is the chief of neurology over at Zucker Hillside Hospital. And he's going to discuss Northwell Health's Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, which does amazing, amazing things. And, that's another topic, the Alzheimer's world, which there's so many different resources, and especially in Nassau County, it's amazing that there's so many different organizations that can, help. And we always try to showcase them on the show. And we will have them on in June. They will be talking to us too on the Project Independence radio show about the services that they have. So I always want to encourage people that if you are interested in the advisory committee meeting, you can do it still via Zoom if you are unable to get out or choose not to get out, or you have a busy day, whatever it is. You can call 311 or 516-869-6311 to get the Zoom link for that. And of course, you can come join us in person to share all this great information. It's a wonderful place. Otto has been with our advisory committees from the beginning. So it's certainly a place that you could be as vocal as you want, or just come to listen. And it's just a great forum to get all the ideas flowing. So
my opinion is that over years they have gotten much, much better. The basics of the program are now understood pretty much by everybody, and it's more details learning with speakers, just learning new things, really. And that's good.
Absolutely. And it's a great, and I can't say it enough because we certainly do say it, but I'm going to say it again. The advisory committees really bring together all the pieces of the puzzle of Project Independence. Obviously you have our team over at the Department of Services for the Aging, you have the elected officials, and you have our advisory committee members, and of course, we have a lot of people who are part of different organizations in the community too. So it's a great collaborative effort to, just come up with new programming and kind of figure out what the needs are in the community. So
It makes me
and-
think like it's an informational committee,
Yeah.
It's like you want to call it an advisory, but there's information provided and information coming in from, our residents. So
Mhm.
it's very, it's all informational,
Mhm.
and a lot of communication. So yeah, I too see how it's kind of evolved from when we first started Otto to how it is today, especially being hybrid with Zoom and,
Mhm.
everyone really essentially having access to it who wants to be
Yeah,
on
and
it.
that's what I think is so special, with having it still on Zoom as well, because we weren't sure at first, how, and there's so many people that still sign on via Zoom, for a variety of different reasons. So I love this kind of hybrid world of programming, and yes, it's not 100%, figured out or easy. It's hard sometimes, but it's still I feel like each advisory we do, we're more have an idea of like where to keep the camera, where to put the mic, and just to get people included on both sides. So
It's besides informational, it's an exchange of ideas
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
both sides. Who maybe somebody who comes to the meeting has an idea,
Right.
and it'll be listened to. If it can be done, it'll be done. If it can't be done, it'll be said it can't be done.
no, it's true, and that's a great point, Otto, because it's never just like, well, you're never going to hear from us again. Everything is followed up with, and if it's not us who can answer the question, we'll get it to the right person who can. So it's really a great connecting kind of forum. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
Definitely.
not just talk to talk. Basically, it's talk to inform, or let's talk about something.
right, and if you want to just talk to talk, you can come a little earlier or stay a little later.
Yeah, right.
Right, there you go.
That's really because that's what happens at these
Yeah.
things. So,
It's managing this aging in place process, basically. How
absolutely. So definitely check that out. I encourage everyone to. We also have our St. Francis cardiac screening van is coming up on Wednesday, May 18th. It will be at Magnolia Gardens, and on Tuesday, May 24th at Fushillo Park. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You do not need to make an appointment. You can get a brief cardiac history, some screenings are done. They have a lot of education. The van is just absolutely stunning. So it's a beautiful, beautiful state-of-the-art kind of facility. So definitely, if you were in the area, check it out. It's a great time to get screened, and it'll be coming all around the town throughout the upcoming months. So you can definitely check that out. We have all of our social groups are still going strong. Some are meeting by choice via Zoom, some are in person. So there's kind of a little bit of something for everyone. We have our social discussions groups meet on Thursday at 11:30, I believe. If I could find it on my paper, we'll be in business here. It meets at 11:30, yes, I know. And then our men's group meets on Fridays at 10 a.m. Then we have our blood pressure screening and bingo over at Roslyn Community Center, and that's on Thursdays as well. And that group, I have to say, it's so wonderful to see. It's been going on for a couple of months now, and all the social workers submit stats to me and give me updates about participation in the different groups, and that is really growing rapidly, which I think is so wonderful because I love incorporating fun with meeting the social worker and nurse, so you can have a little bit of fun and a little bit of conversation about some stuff. So
Christina, last week when we had Councilwoman Lurvy on and we were, you were going through all the stuff that's on the calendar, all the programs through partnerships and through our staff and subcontracted staff, everything that's on the calendar in a week. And then in a month. It is, I'm sitting here just like listening, mesmerized. And it's like, and then, even if you leave something out, it's just more. It's
Yeah.
so much stuff going on. So kudos to us.
Well, that's what Otto always says. There you cannot be bored in the town of North Hempstead.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't work. Between everything Project Independence has to offer, and then all the town programs in itself, there is literally something to do every single day.
Every day.
And there's not enough time in the day to do half the things. So,
Right.
and with summer coming up, there's so many wonderful like movies that the town does and concerts, and I'm so excited to actually learn more about that because in June, I believe, June 3rd it might be. June 3rd, we have on the Parks Department's going to be on giving us this kind of a rundown of all the upcoming programs, and they will also be speaking at our June advisory meeting as well. So it's great stuff, and I love like these outdoor concerts and events, and we are, as we say all the time, very fortunate in North Hempstead to have such beautiful parks, to have these great programs. So
Yeah.
that is coming. And then we have, of course, our Yes We Can Friday program, which is just so much fun because you have exercise for balance and strength at the fall prevention program we do with NYU Langone over there. That starts at 10 o'clock, I believe, if I could find my papers, if anyone could. It starts at 9:30. Then at 11 o'clock, it's followed by What in the World is Going On, which is a current events discussion group. And then at 12:30, we have Color Me Calm, where it's like an adult coloring kind of thing, which is such a fun. I recommend that for everyone. It's so therapeutic, and it's just nice.
Very mindful.
It is. It's mindful, and it's just and the attention to detail. I mean, there's so many benefits to it, which I think is really, really wonderful. So that is over at Yes We Can on Fridays, starting at 9:30 a.m. I encourage people to check out because that is another beautiful facility in North Hempstead. So just call 311 to get more information on that. Then we have coming up on May 18th, Easy Food Storage Tips, which is through our partnership with the Cornell Cooperative Extension, Nassau County, who we have on here on our radio show all the time. Nicole is one of our favorites, part of the family, because she is so knowledgeable at all things, health and food. And I love her. I loved her segment on mindfulness and eating, because it was like a no judgment zone, which I tell myself all the time, I'm like, there's no judgment. You want that brownie, you eat that brownie, But Easy Food Storage Tips, that is going to be on May 18th at 11 a.m. at Magnolia Gardens. And it's really, I'm so intrigued by this topic myself. I might have to get this on the radio show because it's how do we make our food last longer? Whether you're looking to keep your produce fresh or reorganize your pantry, and just understanding how food storage, just doing something, that's another video.
I like this.
I get very sucked into on TikTok. You could tell my interest by these bizarre things that come up. It's either like cleaning or like some kind of food related thing. Because just by doing certain simple hacks or tricks, can really preserve your food. I mean, how many of us sit there and, we're all gung-ho and buy all these beautiful fruits and vegetables and they're go bad, in a couple of days. Otto, I know you and bananas have a lot of, issues.
When I golf,
yeah, but it's,
we have the banana club after the ninth hole. We drink.
That's right. But it's even when your banana goes bad, of course, we all know during the pandemic, you can make banana bread. Which
I always buy green bananas because it doesn't take long before they do.
That's what I do, Otto. That's what I'm doing. So I'm very serious.
A brown mushy banana is not one among my favorites, really.
No.
Kristina, I'm wondering if she'll also be addressing food expiration dates, because that's always like, I have people who are like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. People who live by it, die by it,
Yep. I know. Please, if you live in my house, I'm a little more flexible, we'll say, with expiration dates. My husband is crazy.
Oh, no.
Right? So, like, eggs to me, I'm like, all right, they can, they could hang out a little longer than expected. Jay, that date is there. It's in the garbage.
Well, this segment has expired. So we will be back with Talk of the Town, Project Independence and You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We'll be back in just a minute.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
Welcome back to Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. You're listening to Talk of the Town, and I can't believe this is the final segment of the show today. It's just going so fast, Kristina. Before the break, we were talking about expiration dates and bananas, so we should probably get right back to that. Otto, what's going on? What's going on with bananas? No,
Bananas are very important.
bananas are
No,
very
and I remember actually, because we were talking about food. Somehow I feel like all of our topics go back to food, but that's an important, kind of,
always.
it brings everyone together.
Yeah.
But, Otto, I remember a show we did, I don't even remember how many, many years ago. But we were talking about, produce and stuff. Because, listen, my husband and I, we love vegetables and fruits. We're very big on that. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, sometimes I'm very aspirational. And then as the week goes on, it's like, I don't feel like cooking today, and there's nothing worse than having to throw out, all these things that you bought. And I remember, Otto, like when we found out, we either had a nutritionist on or something, and they were talking about how buying frozen fruit is actually a really great alternative. And then now you hear it all the time. I feel like Project Independence in You was a little ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Because now, they're always talking about that with smoothies and acai
Right,
bowls.
right.
So it's just those little things like that, that you can do, that you can still get, that fruit. Go ahead, Otto. You have
Well, I take the frozen fruit, 44 seconds in the microwave in a little cup. It comes out great. But on a side note, right now, strawberries actually seem to be pretty good, the fresh ones. All right.
Good.
Usually fresh fruit is not that good. It goes bad fast and
Right.
it doesn't have a lot of taste. Strawberries right now are on a good roll.
Oh, really? I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, Otto, we must
And we
be,
cut them up
really on
all
the
the
same
time and put them
wavelength.
in cereal,
That's right. I just bought some straw, and I've had them in my fridge for a pretty, solid amount of time, and they're
You got to
going
cut them up.
Yeah.
Then you'll eat them.
But, but even with stuff like that, I wish I could play the videos that I've, really dove into about, because my Google history, Lord only knows if anyone ever got a hold of that. But it's, do you keep it whole? Do you chop them up? If you chop them up, what do you do? Should you keep it in an airtight container? Should you not? There's so many different things. And
Right.
that's why I'm going to get Nicole back on the show to kind of dive into this food storage, because I think it's so important to not be wasteful and to figure out ways to keep these things last longer.
I
One
could tell
less
you.
fruit- Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I could tell you a little trick that I do. So if it looks like I'm not going to have my bananas or my berries, I cut my bananas up and freeze them.
Yep.
You
I
can
was just
freeze
thinking.
them, or you could do the opposite, and if you cut them up, and just eating frozen bananas.
So good.
And but they have to be minimally very ripe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to freeze. You don't want to freeze them if they're not ripe, because they don't really have much of a taste. But if you freeze them, they are really a great snack. And then you can also use them for your smoothies. And I do that. And another thing I do in the summer now, if your oranges are going bad, your lemons or your limes, you can slice them and freeze them and put them in your drink, frozen.
So that's something I love to do, is make ice cubes out of, these different kind of things. Because
One more fruit thought, all right? You buy like a bowl of fruit in the supermarket or whatever, and it always looks great. There's a bunch of strawberries,
on
some
top,
pineapple on top, blueberries, whatever. Once you get past the top layer, there's nothing but cantaloupe, which is usually like a rock that's below that top layer. Is that like, you think that's like a merchandising ploy? I do.
I think it is like a cost-effective kind of
The
process.
cantaloupes
Yeah,
must be cheaper than the other
I
stuff.
believe they are, but
Yeah.
listen, a good cantaloupe goes a long way too.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
my
If they're good
dad's.
cantaloupes, but there's a lot of like hard rock
Yes.
cantaloupes.
That's what's hard about listen, I'm a sucker for ease, and I love buying things pre-cut, so it just saves me some of the hassle of doing anything. But unfortunately, when you do go down those routes, it's they don't last as long. They're not as fresh, so as if you bought the whole fruit. That's another thing. So we buy pineapples a lot in my house. Sometimes we're successful in actually eating the pineapple, and sometimes the pineapple goes bad before we, it almost just served as like decoration for the week or something. So, because I was saying with my husband, because another video I saw, which I have to try, and when I do try it, I will get back to all the listeners here, was that, once you cut open your pineapple, to take the skin and boil the skin, because all the nutrients that come out of that are supposedly really, really wonderful. And I want to know how it tastes. So I'm going to try
Pineapple
it.
skin.
Pineapple skin.
Now, let me ask you this. You get a pineapple. I've never done it
Thorny.
in my life, all right? What do? You cut the top off, or
You cut the top. So I have a contraption. You cut the top. I have a contraption that it's
course you do.
metal, and it's like spirally, and you stick it in, and then you twist it. It's incredible. It was so cheap. I got it on Amazon for like $5 or something, and it makes little like rings of pineapple, and you just
but
pull it out.
despite that, you still have pineapples that go bad.
Yes, because I don't do it. I also want to be clear. I have the contraption, but I'm too scared to do it, so I make Jay do it. But unfortunately, my husband's so busy between helping my brother in his new house and working overtime. I looked over at the pineapple just a couple of nights ago, and I was like, I think it's time to throw this away. So, unfortunately, but there are great things to do, and I love pineapple, especially with the summer coming. I love all these fruits. So to find ways to kind of maximize it and cheaper ways, and like I said, there's nothing worse than throwing out stuff.
Pineapples are so good, you have to wonder, are they really good for you?
True, they are though. They are very good for you. So it's
Well, they're a
sometimes
whole food, but there is sugar. There's
right.
Right.
But listen, it could be. I always say the sugar in those things is a lot better than the sugar in other things. So
In
you gotta
brownies. Yeah.
you gotta pick your battle. So I mean, you can eat a sleeve of cookies or have a couple of pieces of pineapple. It's like that's kind of how it goes. But anyway, I'm definitely gonna have this segment on because I think we could all and I like all the tips and tricks we just shared because we're just giving out golden nuggets to anyone that's listening today. So
I'm
everyone's
so hungry right now.
we're clearly all starving.
Christina, I have
no,
a different topic, all right? Mindful. We talked mindful before. It made me think about, there was a flyer that you sent out. Lock your vehicle, lock it or lose it.
Mhm.
And every day I get another one of these next door email things
Oh yeah.
about somebody else's car being broken into, catalytic converters being stolen,
I
whatever.
know.
The catalytic converter part of it is a little harder to handle, but you got to be mindful of locking your car, because the cars that are getting broken into, they're not getting broken into. They're wide open. You can just open the door. I mean, they're not breaking windows anymore. They just go to the easy pickings.
No, it's true. And I think, that's when, and being mindful, obviously, it's a broad term that really goes to so many aspects of your life. And I think too, and I constantly am telling myself to be mindful because, especially if I have the tendency to be thinking about a lot of things at times and doing 10,000 things at one time. So it's very easy to be forgetful and you get preoccupied. I always say that to my mom, when she gets overwhelmed and stuff, and she's like, oh, I forgot to. I said, it's because there's so much going on that you're not being mindful of the task at hand. You're doing something, but thinking of, 10,000 other things, because we laugh upstairs because my mom, my dad calling, Kristina, can you help me find this? Can you help me find this? Because she's like, I was like, I don't know. I just literally put something in a drive, no recollection of even doing it. And I said, because you're not being mindful or paying attention, and I think especially with the security realm and the lock your vehicle, I saw this flyer, it was outside of our office. There was a little table and I said, oh, this is so great. I'm going to take this for the radio show. So Otto's referring to a press release, a flyer that came out through the county, and it said lock it or lose it. And it's just so important to, number one, do not leave valuables inside your car. Place packages and shopping bags in the trunk. Do not leave your vehicle running and unattended. Do not leave spare keys inside your vehicle. These are some tips that I feel like saying it, people are like, oh, that's common sense. Of course, why would you do that? Obviously not. But I can think of instances where I have, fallen into these categories. How many of us have left your car running? Oh, I forgot something inside. I'm going to run and go get it. Things happen in a split second, So I think it is so important to really be mindful and aware of these things, and to keep, certainly keep your car locked. Unfortunately, there are some instances where you might have had your car locked and something horrible happened. But this did happen, many years ago. My husband and I remember we were going to some bagel store somewhere on the island, and I thought the car was locked and it wasn't locked, and I stupidly left my bag in the car, and my wallet was credit cards were just taken right out of it. And the door was ajar, and I was devastated, but I'll tell you what, it's something I learned to never, ever do ever again. I used to walk around supermarkets and have my bag in the cart and be, over there getting something.
You can't do that anymore.
You know what I mean? But how many times, Beck, could you think of like times that you did something like that?
They call that opportunity crime. You're giving the criminal or the thief an opportunity.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about that in the dorms in college every year. They said, this is an opportunity. You lock the door, and all that. But on a lighter note, I just want you to know that a couple of people listening to the show are texting me back to the fruit. I don't want to go back to the fruit, but I just want you to know I got composting bin for expired fruit, banana bread. This from Shari, banana bread for soft bananas, which is true. So that's so.
But that's why I see right there shows you it's a hot topic, and that's why your producer over here will be getting that topic on the show, because
we have to. We have
the people have spoken, so I will.
People have spoken.
That's right. But back to our other mind. It's just in the mindful. It's important though to just pay attention. A lot of these crimes and accidents. I mean, if you think of all these times where accidents and crime, little things that have happened to you, it's usually involved with you either being preoccupied or not being present. And listen, we don't want people to walk around terrified 24/7, but it is so important to be mindful of the task at hand. My grandma used to always say to my mom, and it's something that stuck with me forever. It's, when you're at work, you think about work. And then when you're at home, you think about home. And it was something so simple, but it always sticks with me because I think, we all live very busy lives, and especially in this crazy world that we're in. So it's very easy to get sidetracked or get flustered. So just some tips. So thank you, Otto, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Because it's just important to kind of just, they seem like common sense things, but to just kind of remind people the importance of doing them. We had mentioned next week we'll be having our wellness, safety, technology for seniors topic, but also to come on some, on the upcoming shows, we have the Transition Network of Long Island, which is a wonderful organization of, I believe it's 55 plus women, age plus women, and they are all in that kind of transitional stage of retiring and what's next, and really interesting to learn about that. So that is going to be on May 27th. And then on June 3rd, we're going to have a jam-packed show. We're having Parker Jewish Institute will be on, talking about a bunch of different programs they have. So it's Parker at Your Door, Willing Hearts Helpful Hands program, and the Hope and Healing program. So I think we're going to have so much information on that day. And then following that segment, we have the Parks Department coming on that will be giving us, the updates on all the fun things in North Hempstead. So that's on June 3rd. On June 10th.
That's all on June 3rd?
That's all on June 3rd.
I'm not going to be here June 3rd.
Oh, they're coming
I'll be at
as
a wedding.
You got some nerve, Otto. Well, so now you're going to have Rebecca and I
watch
doing
the show.
Are they coming on as a panel?
It's a panel, yes.
Okay.
Oh.
And then we have on June 10th, we have the facts about neuropathy, which is certainly a topic we've addressed many times on this show. So I'm very intrigued to know about that. June 17th, we have a repeat show. And then on June 24th, we have on Northwell Health Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. So they'll be talking about that. Obviously, if you have ever missed any of our amazing shows, you can go to the WCWP Studio YouTube page or the Project Independence website. We have everything archived, and they're YouTube links, so it's a great way to share it. I'm constantly sending them around to people I know because it's just such wonderful, wonderful information. So, and obviously you can listen to us live on Fridays at 10 a.m. That's just that, and then stay tuned for some July stuff because I have a whole list of things that I want to try and schedule. But first on the list, I'm not going to lie, is this food storage issue. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm buzzing. I might have that scheduled by the end of the day, everyone.
Yeah.
But
Food
that
storage, definitely.
absolutely. Then I wanted to mention last week when we had on Councilwoman Lurvy, she was talking about kind of all the green initiatives of North Hempstead, which we're always just so blown away by. And the one that is coming up is on Tuesday, May 17th at 7 p.m. Is going to be a virtual workshop on the resiliency of our drinking water. I'm just so it's something that I just would love to learn more about because as we addressed last week, it's things we take for granted, right? I mean, how many times have you seen someone pour a chemical on the grass or in the street or, you're thinking like, well, I'm not pouring it down the drain. So, it's fine, so there's so many things that, really need to be done to keep our water resource healthy. And there's going to be a whole panel of all different experts, including Councilwoman Veronica Lurvy, who will be facilitating it. So that is May 17th at 7 p.m. virtually. So you can call 311 to sign up for that. So.
Do you happen to know if that show or that program will be recorded?
That's a good question. I don't know. I could find that out because I don't know. I'm not sure what they do about that, but I'll send.
I can't make it that night, but I know I would like to find out.
Yeah,
more.
I will email Councilwoman Lurvy and find out if that's going to be because that would be a great certainly.
Is it live or on Zoom?
Or both? It says a virtual workshop. It's not specifying what type of medium they're using for it. So I'm assuming it's Zoom, but sometimes it's Teams or not. I'm not sure. But if you call 311, they'll give you the link to tell you kind of what virtual medium you need to use for that.
Okay.
Also, I just want to remind people there are tons of other groups that are meeting in North Hempstead. You can always call 311. We have Fun Day Mondays will be coming up soon. I can't believe we're even talking about Fun Day Monday back. It's finally coming up. I know you guys have all been working really hard at scheduling that. Beck's kind of the event coordinator of all the fun bands and performances that go on at Fun Day Monday. So I'm sure you have a lot of
we've got we've got Elvis, we got Frank Sinatra, we have the Beatles. So this is the first.
I love that. I think that's so great. I'm marking that one on my calendar.
Yeah, and I as a friend of mine is in that band, and I did see them out, and they're just so much fun. It's gonna be a lively time, and so we have entertainers, we've got fitness. We're partnering with Metro Wellness, and they're doing they're going to do the fitness program at 10:30 each Monday at North Hempstead Beach Park. So, it's kind of our first season back to where we were before. I believe we're going to have the cafe too, just like we had in the past. Some things might be a little bit different, coffee, that kind of a thing, even though we had a couple of Fun Day Mondays last summer. Both of them, I think we talked about, were weathered out. I think one was like due to the heat.
Yeah.
And it was a week where it was like in the high 90s. So, well, it's time. The show has come to the end. So
we've inundated everyone with so much information today.
So much information. You've been listening to Project Independence and You, Community Talk Radio on 88.1 FM at WCWP.org. Of course, thanks to Dan Cox at the radio station, Otto Los, Christina Liu, the wonderful radio show producer, our guest who is just amazing from Helen Keller Services. May everybody have a mindful weekend, and we'll be back next week with more Project Independence and You.